Ezekiel chapters 27 through 29. The word of the Lord came to me. Now, son of man, lament for Tyre. Say to Tyre, who is situated at the entrance of the sea, merchant of the peoples, to many coasts and islands. This is what the Lord God says. Tyre, you declared, I am perfect in beauty. Your realm was in the heart of the sea. Your builders perfected your beauty. They constructed all your planking with pine trees from Senir. They took a cedar from Lebanon to make a mast for you. They made your oars of oaks from Bashan. They made your deck of cypress wood from the coasts of Cyprus. Inlaid with ivory, your sail was made of fine embroidered linen from Egypt and served as your banner. Your awning was of blue and purple fabric from the coasts of Elisha. The inhabitants of Sidon and Arvad were your rowers. Your wise men were within you. Tyre, they were your captains. The elders of Gebal and its wise men, there within you, repairing your leaks. All the ships of the sea and their sailors came to you to barter for your goods. Men of Persia, Lud and Put, were in your army, serving as your warriors. They hung shields and helmets in you. They gave you splendor. Men of Arvad and Helek were stationed on your walls all around. The Gammadites were in your towers. They hung their shields all around your walls. They perfected your beauty. Tarshish was your trading partner. Because of your abundant wealth of every kind, they exchanged silver, iron, tin, and lead for your merchandise. Javin, Tubal, and Meshech were your merchants. They exchanged slaves and bronze utensils for your goods. Those from Beth Togarma exchanged horses, war horses, and mules for your merchandise. Men of Dedan were also your merchants. Many coasts and islands were your regular markets. They brought back ivory tusks and ebony as your payment. Aram was your trading partner. Because of your numerous products, they exchanged turquoise, purple, and embroidered cloth, fine linen, coral, and rubies for your merchandise. Judah and the land of Israel were your merchants. They exchanged wheat from Minnith, meal, honey, oil, and balm for your goods. Damascus was also your trading partner because of your numerous products and your abundant wealth for every kind. Trading in wine from Helbon and white wool. Vidan and Javin from Uzal dealt in your merchandise. Wrought iron, cassia, and aromatic cane were exchanged for your goods. Dedan was your merchant in saddlecloths for riding. Arabia and all the princes of Kedar were your business partners, trading with you in lambs, rams, and goats. The merchants of Sheba and Raamah traded with you. For your merchandise, they exchanged the best of all spices and all kinds of precious stones as well as gold. Haran, Canaan, Eden, and merchants of Sheba, Asher, and Chilmad traded with you. They were your merchants in choice garments, cloaks of blue and embroidered materials, and multicolored carpets, which were bound and secured with cords in your marketplace. Ships of Tarshish were the carriers of your goods. So you became full and heavily loaded in the heart of the sea. Your rowers have brought you onto the high seas, but the east wind has wrecked you in the heart of the sea. Your wealth, merchandise, and goods, your sailors and captains, those who repair your leaks, those who barter for your goods, and all the warriors on board, with all the other people within you, sink into the heart of the sea. On the day of your downfall, the countryside shakes at the sound of your sailors' cries. All the oarsmen disembark from their ships. The sailors and all the captains of the sea stand on the shore. Because of you, they raise their voices and cry out bitterly. They throw dust on their heads. They roll in ashes. They shave their heads because of you and wrap themselves in sackcloth. They weep over you with deep anguish and bitter mourning. In their wailing, they lament for you, mourning over you, who was like Tyre, silenced in the middle of the sea. When your merchandise was unloaded from the seas, you satisfied many peoples. You enriched the kings of the earth with your abundant wealth and goods. Now you are wrecked by the sea. In the depths of the waters, your goods and the people within you have gone down. All the inhabitants of the coasts and islands are appalled at you. Their kings shudder with fear. Their faces are contorted. Those who trade among the people scoff at you. You have become an object of horror and will never exist again. The word of the Lord came to me. Son of man, say to the ruler of Tyre, this is what the Lord God says. Your heart is proud, and you have said, I am a god. I sit in the seat of gods in the heart of the sea. Yet you are a man and not a god, though you have regarded your heart as that of a god. Yes, you are wiser than Daniel. No secret is hidden from you. By your wisdom and understanding, you have acquired wealth for yourself. You have acquired gold and silver for your treasuries. By your great skill in trading, you have increased your wealth, but your heart has become proud because of your wealth. Therefore, this is what the Lord God says, because you regard your heart as that of a god. I am about to bring strangers against you, ruthless men from the nations. They will draw their swords against your magnificent wisdom and will pierce your splendor. They will bring you down to the pit, and you will die in a violent death in the heart of the sea. Will you still say, I am a god, in the presence of those who slay you? Yet you will be only a man, not a god, in the hands of those who kill you. You will die the death of the uncircumcised at the hands of strangers. For I have spoken. This is the declaration of the Lord God. The word of the Lord came to me. Son of man, lament for the king of Tyre and say to him, this is what the Lord God says. You were the seal of perfection, full of wisdom and perfect in beauty. You were in Eden, the garden of God. Every kind of precious stone covered you. Carnelian, topaz and diamond, beryl, onyx and jasper, lapis lazuli, turquoise and emerald. Your mountings and settings were crafted in gold. They were prepared on the day you were created. You were an anointed guardian cherub, for I had appointed you. You were on the holy mountain of God. You walked among the fiery stones from the day you were created. You were blameless in your ways until wickedness was found in you. Through the abundance of your trade, you were filled with violence and you sinned. So I expelled you in disgrace from the mountain of God and banished you, guardian cherub, from among the fiery stones. Your heart became proud because of your beauty. For the sake of your splendor, you corrupted your wisdom. So I threw you down to the ground. I made you a spectacle before kings. You profaned your sanctuaries by the magnitude of your iniquities. In your dishonest trade, so I made fire come from within you, and it consumed you. I reduced you to ashes on the ground in the sight of everyone watching you. All those who know you among the peoples are appalled at you. You have become an object of horror, and will never exist again. The word of the Lord came to me, Son of man, face Sidon and prophesy against it. You are to say, this is what the Lord God says. Look, I am against you, Sidon, and I will display my glory within you. They will know that I am the Lord when I execute judgments against her and demonstrate my holiness through her. I will send a plague against her and bloodshed in her streets. The slain will fall within her, while the sword is against her on every side. Then they will know that I am the Lord. The house of Israel will no longer be hurt by prickly briars or painful thorns from all their neighbors who treat them with contempt. Then they will know that I am the Lord God. This is what the Lord God says. When I gather the house of Israel from the peoples where they are scattered, I will demonstrate my holiness through them in the sight of the nations, and they will live in their own land, which I gave to my servant Jacob. They will live there securely, build houses and plant vineyards. They will live securely when I execute judgments against all their neighbors who treat them with contempt. Then they will know that I am the Lord, their God. In the 9th year, in the 10th month, on the 12th day of the month, the word of the Lord came to me. Son of man, face Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and prophesy against him and against all of Egypt. Speak to him and say, this is what the Lord God says. Look, I am against you, Pharaoh, king of Egypt, the great monster lying in the middle of his Nile, who says, my Nile is my own. I made it for myself. I will put hooks in your jaws and make the fish of your streams cling to your scales. I will haul you up from the middle of your Nile, and all the fish of your streams will cling to your scales. I will leave you in the desert, you and all the fish of your streams. You will fall on the open ground and will not be taken away or gathered for burial. I have given you to the wild creatures of the earth and the birds of the sky as food. Then all the inhabitants of Egypt will know that I am the Lord, for they have been a staff made of reed to the house of Israel. When Israel grasped you by the hand, you splintered, tearing all their shoulders. When they leaned on you, you shattered and made all their hips unsteady. Therefore, this is what the Lord God says. I am going to bring a sword against you to cut you off, both people and animals from you. To cut off both people and animals from you. The land of Egypt will be a desolate ruin. Then they will know that I am the Lord, because you said the Nile is my own. I made it. Therefore, I am against you and your Nile. I will turn the land of Egypt into ruins, a desolate waste, from Migdol to Syene, as far as the border of Cush. No human foot will pass through it, and no animal foot will pass through it. It will be uninhabited for 40 years. I will make the land of Egypt a desolation among desolate lands, and its cities will be a desolation among ruined cities. For 40 years I will disperse the Egyptians among the nations and scatter them throughout the lands. For this is what the Lord God says. At the end of 40 years I will gather the Egyptians from the peoples where they were dispersed. I will restore the fortunes of Egypt and bring them back to the land of Pathros, the land of their origin. There will be a lowly kingdom. Egypt will be the lowliest of kingdoms and will never again exalt itself over the nations. I will make them so small they cannot rule over the nations. It will never again be an object of trust for the house of Israel, drawing attention to their iniquity of turning to the Egyptians. Then they will know that I am the Lord God. In the 77th year, in the 1st month, on the 1st day of the month, in the 27th year, in the 1st month, on the 1st day of the month, the word of the Lord came to me. Son of man, King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon made his army labor strenuously against Tyre. Every head was made bald and every shoulder chafed. But he and his army received no compensation from Tyre for the labor he expended against it. Therefore, this is what the Lord God says. I am going to give the land of Egypt to King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon, and he will carry off its wealth, seizing its spoil and taking its plunder. This will be his army's compensation. I have given him the land of Egypt as the pay he labored for. Since they worked for me, this is the declaration of the Lord God. In that day I will cause a horn to sprout for the house of Israel, and I will enable you to speak out among them. Then they will know that I am the Lord,